Hey guys, Chad, I'm back. Something I wanted to do that's a little bit different from my typical video, which is usually around movies and stuff like that. I wanted to talk about something I had some experience with, which is the financial field. I work for a financial institution, and I just want to give you guys a little bit of advice in that situation to kind of save you some money. When you're shopping for a vehicle, if you have poor credit, I know a lot of people have poor credit, do not shop in payments. Shop in the overall value of the car, and please be aware of your interest rate. APR is a mother like it's if you don't know, your finance rate, even though it's called APR, is not calculated annually, it's calculated daily. So that's why early on in a loan you end up paying more towards interest than towards principal, because you know, 10% of $25,000 is significantly higher per day than 10% of $3,000 when you're, 4.5 years into that loan. So please be aware of that, and please be advised that if you have a high interest rate like that, like 10% over like 6 years or whatnot or more, when you finish paying that loan off, you're gonna not be paying just 10% of what you borrowed. You're gonna be paying 50% of what you borrowed. So if you get a $20,000 car, you're gonna be paying $30,000 back to that financial institution for the privilege of them letting you borrow that money, because that's how APR works and that's how banks make their money. Not saying that banks don't have a right to make money, but it's also a bit of a shady practice in my opinion. So here's what you should do. Let's say you're poor, you have bad credit, you need a car. It happens. Like literally most of the countries in this problem. Try to find something around in the $5,000 to $7,000 area. It's gonna be tough, but you can, buy a Honda, buy whatever, something you could. I have a friend of mine. She got a older Lexus. She found it at a buy here, which I don't recommend, but she got one to buy here, pay here lot. She got a 3-year term. She had like 14% interest, but she was in and out of the car. She ended up paying the car for 3 years, so she didn't pay that much interest, and also she owned the car after a short time. Instead of being in a situation where you're paying for that car at such a high interest rate for 6 years, So again, and then in that case, if you after those 3 years, if you want a different car, your credit should be better, so you can go purchase a better car, newer car at a lower interest rate, since your credit has improved, or hopefully has improved. So that's my bit of advice to you, is that interest is a mother lover. It's going to cost you a lot of money, especially if you do a long-term loan. So if you're going to do a long-term loan, please try to keep it try to get it if you're going to do like or especially like a big one, because I've seen people who have a Yukon Denali, $60,000 on 14% interest rate, and they're paying $25 per day in interest. That is terrible, and that's a complete waste of money. Literally, you're spending $100 every 4 days on interest. If you have that kind of money, that's fantastic. Please, IM me, get in my DMs, and I will send you some PayPal information so you can send me some of that money, since you just don't need it and don't want it. I need it and I want it. Please, I love you. Send it to me. So that's my advice, is that don't try not to finance like 6-year loans unless you have an interest rate around in the 6% or less range. More emphasis on that less range part. So you can save you some money, because if you're in that position where you have a high interest rate, most people, they don't really have that much money, just be blowing on bank profits. So be wise with it, save it, use it on things that matter, your kids, your house, your healthcare, stuff that can really actually impact your life positively. Okay, so that's it. Like, share, subscribe. Love you. Please be wise with your money and your life. So my advice, share it, please. Tell whoever needs to know.